taxation by the city of Crowley, and to provide for all matters relative thereto and in connection therewith. Number 2, a resolution of the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, introducing a proposed ordinance for the annual budget for fiscal year 2022, fixing a date for a public hearing to be held to consider the adoption of the annual budget for fiscal year 2022. Signed, Tim Monso, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is agenda amendments, and I'm going to ask someone to make a motion, please. I inadvertently forgot to put on there budget amendments. I do have a copy, however, of all the description of all the budget amendments that are, I'm going to call them the guts of that, and I'm going to ask, please, for a motion to amend this agenda to allow a resolution for the budget amendment introduction. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion to amend the agenda to present to the council a resolution, set a date on the public hearing for the such.
Yes.
You need a roll call on that.
Thank you. Ms. Joanna's going to hand them out to you.
Point of order, Mayor, question, please. What you bringing and, you're adding to the agenda, is that what you're doing?
Yes, sir. I'm
And
just
yet,
amending.
yet our legal, the newspaper, Tom, that's a question for you. I don't think this can be, added.
I don't understand what that would be. It gave us a simple amendment to the budget. To the
Well,
agenda.
okay,
It's a simple
okay.
amendment to the agenda to add a resolution.
Okay.
To a special meeting.
Okay.
All it takes is a vote, but if there's any one person can kill this amendment.
Exactly,
No.
exactly.
So, but you have to, as the mayor just indicated, he inadvertently left it off, but this is one of those things that needs to be done by the 31st of August.
But with all due respect.
Yeah, we do it every year, that's right. It's appropriations that you've already made these appropriations since September.
Well, Steve, with all due respect, I'm talking to Tom.
That's,
The question I have here is this: well, why is it that whenever the members of this council try to amend, it's always a figure rule? I mean, but
I'm
anyway,
sorry, what?
I mean, every time we try and amend the agenda, because I have an amendment that I would like to make also. So let's go with this, and
You certainly have that privilege, I agree with that,
I
yes,
just
sir.
want to make sure. I just want to make sure. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Woodward, second the motion. Yes. Second discussion, yes.
Yeah, just to be clear, this is just to set, yeah,
All, yes, sir.
yeah, this is just to set
A date.
a date.
Yes, sir. That
We're
is
not
correct. All of this we're doing tonight, for the exception of the levying of the millage, is to set a date for a public hearing. That is correct. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, I say roll call, but anyway, go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Jeff Cavell,
Yes.
Brad Core,
Yes.
Clint Crater,
Yes,
Vernon Martin,
Abstain.
Stephen Primo,
yes,
Sammy Reggie,
Yes.
Kim Stringfellow. Yes. And Byron Woolridge.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Any other agenda amendments?
I'd like to make one, Mayor.
All right, go ahead.
I met with some citizens. We went through your draft, and this was given to me to read out, if I may. This is from an anonymous citizen.
I'm sorry.
that had-
Wait, Mr. Martin, we have to amend the agenda first.
I'll second.
Okay,
Okay, made motion, offered by Mr. Martin, seconded by Mr. Craven. I'm trying to find out what the motion is.
Motion to amend the agenda so we can.
Motion to amend the agenda for
Specify
what?
what you wanna do is that, Mr.
I just
Martin,
want to read into the record something that citizens have given me to read.
an anonymous letter, is that what you said?
Well, it's anonymous to me because it was handed to me by someone and they said, it's not from me, but it needs to be read.
Again, Mr. Martin, I'm gonna emphasize that all of this is just to set a date. That
I
way you
understand
have,
that.
and the people who are going to be able to attend.
I don't think you can stop me from reading this letter.
Okay, all right. Seconded by Mr. Krieger, discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Jeff Cavell,
Yes.
Brad Core,
Yes.
Clint Crater,
Yes.
Paul Fogelman, Vernon Martin,
Yes,
Stephen Primo,
Yes.
Sammy Reggie,
Yes.
Kim Stringfellow,
Yes.
and Byron Wilridge.
yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, first of all, item number 1 is a resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, fixing and levying the millage on the 2021 tax roll on all properties subject to taxation by the City of Crowley, and to provide for all matters relative thereto and in connection therewith. Offer a motion? Offered by Mr. Core, seconded by Mr. Primo. Discussion? All in favor? Yes, sir. Sorry.
In the draft budget, it indicates for the wastewater disposal, 3.5 mils, and in the resolution, it indicates 3.47 mils. Is that
Okay, so get the topographical area, we'll get it
That's
correct.
not
What is it,
100%
you
right.
ask me which is the correct one?
Yes.
Now, I will have to get with you a second. 3.47.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, Ms. Stringfellow.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there any way we can get the account numbers for all of this, so we can just double check all of them? You know, because we double checked, I mean, the wastewater facility came from 700-31-004 in the budget. You know what I mean? I just want cross-reference.
You can make the motion for it. Kim, you can make the motion.
Okay, no, never mind, thank you, he's telling me where they're at. Okay, Okay.
It's listed in your budget under
it's
Alabama?
at the beginning, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, thank you.
Mr. Primo.
Yes, the millage is the same as last year?
Correct.
Oh.
Roll back.
Okay, so we're just rolling forward so that we can take advantage of the growth.
Yeah, you're fixing it the same, no roll up or roll back.
Okay,
Same-
that way we can take advantage of the growth.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, apologize. Yes, because it's not an ordinance. Sorry, roll call. I know we still have to have a roll call. We have to have a roll call. I'm sorry.
Jeff Cavell.
Yes.
Oh,
Excuse me, question.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, can I
No,
ask
you
one
okay?
more?
Yes.
Okay. What is the number in parentheses, like, say for instance, after general alimony, it's 5023001?
It's just a subcategory of the budget, those are numbers on the computer.
Okay, thank you.
It's a reference number.
Okay, any more? Roll call. I'm sorry.
Jeff Cavell,
Yes.
Brad Core,
Yes.
Clint Crater,
Yes.
Vernon Martin,
Yes.
Stephen Primo,
Yes,
Sammy Reggie,
Yes.
Kim Stringfellow,
Yes.
and Byron Wilridge.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. It does pass. Next, A resolution of the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Crowley, Katy Parish, Louisiana, introducing a proposed ordinance for the annual budget for fiscal year 2022, fixing a date for a public hearing to be held to consider the adoption of the annual budget for fiscal year 2022, and authorizing publication of the notice of public hearing and availability of the proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2022. That's for a motion, please.
So moved.
Offered by Mr. Cabell. Seconded by Mr. Core. Discussion. Again, this is to set a date. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Craig.
So this is to set a date for this budget, because there's some things in here that I'm sure a lot of us don't agree with.
100%.
Do we get to fix it before?
Yes, sir. It's set a date for the public hearing this coming budget, 2022.
But not this particular budget? Because, like I said, this budget, the format was changed, there's a lot of things in this budget that need to be
Yes, sir.
added. When are we gonna be able to voice our opinion on what
That-
we
yes,
think?
Yes, sir, you'll be able to review it, take it with you, review it, and get back with me, please, with any changes that you see.
Mr. Mayor, wait.
Mr.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
listening, and you need to listen to what you're saying. Question that Clint asked you, you asking us to basically approve what's here.
No, sir.
Wait, I'm clearing myself up with it too, so listen, so if I'm wrong, you tell me. Okay, there's a lot in that budget that needs to be changed. So how can we have a public hearing, the stuff, what are we supposed to just jot down and ask a public hearing? Suppose you don't agree with what we going against, where do we go then? This budget needs to be clean before it's introduced to the public, okay? You can't clean the budget, introducing it, and anything that a council member, don't like, what you just gonna strike it out? If one of the department heads come up here and say, you know what, I don't agree with you doing this and that to my budget,
Yes,
what's
sir.
gonna happen then?
Yes, sir, that's why it's given to you at this point, to where you can look at it, clear up what you have, and we can make substitutions.
No, man, you still not understanding what I'm telling you.
You're not understanding.
Okay. When you introduce the budget at a public hearing, that has to be a clean budget. John, it has to be clean.
Wait, step.
John,
This
I'm
is a
talking right now.
proposal.
Can I finish talking and then you can, whatever, you can rebut?
But you asked me to clarify.
Yeah, but right now you didn't do it, so now, if you don't mind, just one
Go
minute.
ahead, Mr. Moore.
Okay. The public has a right to know where their money is going. Okay? What you gave us right here, you just heard one council member, and I know I'm another one right here. I seen all types of, whether it's a typo or whatever, it's not clear to me. So basically, when we have this public hearing, it has to be clean. Are we to meet in executive session and clean this up before we present it to the public? Because Mayor, if this budget as it is right now is presented, I don't know about the rest of them, but it's a hell no to me. I mean, I'm not kidding. Okay? I wanna be able to, okay, John, I'm just saying, I wanna be able to present a clean budget. Okay, if the department heads have any, deficiencies, they need to let us know. All right, I chair Public Works. Wastewater. I want my superintendent over there to call me and tell me, I don't agree with this. You understand? Then it's my job to represent wastewater, Public Works, public safety, whatever it may be. So I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be out of play here, Mayor, but I'm trying to put it where when we present the budget to, for the public hearing, it'll be a budget that we all agree upon. Because, man, the worst thing in the world, and I'm pretty sure you know this, is that we present something to the public and they have a problem with it. Okay? So I would say this right here, we got drafts. We got our legal entity right here, which is the post signal. Man, it wouldn't be a bad idea to put the whole budget into the paper. Let the people read it. Okay? It's nothing but words right now in numbers, that's all it is. Now tell them I'm finished, thank you.
Mayor, members of
Yes, sir.
council,
Mr.
this is a proposed budget. It's says that in the resolution. Right. It says that in the budget itself. This is proposed, this is a proposal under the Louisiana Legislative Budget Act.
I'm
The
familiar with
mayor,
it.
wait, let me answer, Mr. Martin.
Okay.
Please follow. The mayor is responsible for submitting a proposed budget to the council and to the public, not the council.
But we in
Wait.
charge of approving it. Make that clear. We have to approve it.
If I could finish my answer,
Okay,
Mr.
well, I'll
Martin,
just let you know.
you keep interrupting and you.
Well, you do the same thing, so welcome to the club. Well, I'm finished.
Okay, please. Go ahead, Mr. Reagan.
Mr. Martin, I do not wish to make an argument out of this.
It's not
I am
argument, Tony.
trying to give you an explanation of how
Okay.
this process works.
Okay.
It works very similar to all ordinances.
Okay.
When an ordinance is, any ordinance that is introduced is a proposal. It may come from the council, it may come from the mayor, it may come from someone else who's asked this in the council, but the mayor has approved offering it. You know, that proposal is subject to a public hearing. After the public hearing, it may be changed. You can discuss those changes, you can submit your changes but you have to listen to the public hearing before you can do anything.
Exactly.
You know, so after the public hearing, you have an opportunity to make the changes and submit what you call a clean budget. I've never seen one of those in my life. Nothing remains the same in the budget, it never does. There are changes made all the time. You know, a budget is a living, breathing animal, basically. It changes it's like every heartbeat. You know, so that's a change that can be made. You know, you have your proposals, the mayor has given you a detailed list, I got a copy of this about this thick. There's a summary that's what's being adopted in the ordinance itself is simply that outline, which outlines the major categories. If you see that list that's in the budget, that you have in your packet. You know, that's what's being introduced. You know, now those numbers are not cast in stone. They're subject to change by this council. They're subject to change by the mayor. They're subject to correction, because I guarantee you, that's not the numbers may be transposed. The numbers there may be an error. All that we'll try to correct all of that. You may or may not be successful, but you can always, when you make when the mayor makes the decision to spend money, that's when it becomes obvious if you've got a mistake in somewhere a lot of times. But those things will all be cleared up later with the budget amendment, which is your next motion to make a budget amendment for the current budget. But as of tonight, what you're doing is introducing the mayor's proposal that you're receiving along with that budget message. He's telling you what he's proposing and why he's proposing that. That's what's going on right now.
And set a date.
And set a date for hearing.
Setting a date.
Yeah.
Okay. You must have forgot what happened at the last budget.
I thought that had been delivered to us.
No, we supposed to have that before we come here.
Okay, I got it wrong.
I know damn well you got it wrong, and I'm gonna walk out on that.
Order, please.
You owe, I'm going, you owe me an apology, but I'm going.
No, sir, he does not have it wrong. He's talking.
Man, we supposed to have all this.
I received an email saying it was gonna be delivered. I assume it had been delivered.
It has been
No,
delivered.
it wasn't delivered.
It was delivered.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all need to think before y'all do anything with this budget. I'm telling you. You remember what happened last time? I'm gonna just think about last time.
Mayor, if I can.
Yes, sir, 1 second, please.
Try
Ms.
to
Jones,
slip all
Ms.
kinds
Jones
of-
is now handing out a summary which is attached to this particular resolution. You already have a copy of the proposed details, that's correct. This is a summary that is being handed out. That is a part of an attachment with this particular resolution.
What I was referring to was that thick packet that you got. I don't know whether you got it today or, yes.
Yeah, we got that.
We got it Monday.
Yes, sir.
That's what I understood,
It was delivered, Mr. Reagan.
Okay, that's what I was referring to.
It was delivered. Okay,
Mr. Martin just simply will not
all right.
take the time to understand what I'm saying.
Okay, next, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. No, sir. Mr. Cavell's next. He had his hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since it was referenced by Mr. Martin, I would like to also, remind everybody what happened last year and why 4 months went by holding the city hostage of a budget that had nothing to do, well, if you listen, the truth is in the fact that the budget, as clean as it was never altered until it was passed. It was passed without any change to the budget. You can deny that all you want, but it was not changed, okay? The only thing that changed was that, right, Mr. Core? You got a CPA who actually spent many man-hours on the proposed budget that he himself said is probably the most comprehensive budget the city has had in several years. The proof in that nothing's carved in stone is the amendments to the budget that we have just set a date to have as well, that Mr. Reagan referred to. Amendments to the budget that you can deny, like I did last year, and cause the city to have a finding, but that this council, this board, actually spent money for the city without amending the budget. So what does that say much about this board if you're willing to spend money and not amend the budget at the same time? So in reference to that, which Mr. Martin had mentioned about previous budget. Now, again, I actually helped and assisted on this and will agree that this is by far the best budget that I've come across in this city. The summary, for those of you who are not familiar, is just that of what you did receive Monday. You know, if you have problems with what the columns mean, we try to simplify it. Yes, we changed the format because all we heard in the previous was how hard the previous format was to work. This was actually something that Mr. Abshire assisted in as well, and said it would be a lot easier to understand. So I just wanted to clarify those mistakes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Craig.
Thank you, Mayor, and I'd like to clarify what I was talking about. And I'm not talking about the numbers, but looking at the previous budgets, and I went all the way back to Mayor Jones's budgets, and we always had the actual estimated, and that's missing from this budget, and the salaries and employees are missing from this budget, and the fund balances beginning, ending, and prior are missing from this budget, and I think it would be a great tool to this board if we had those put back into this budget, and we could kind of compare things and where the money went, where we overspent, and just exactly what's happened. I think it would be a lot more transparent. I'm not here to argue, Jeff. I'm just saying this is what I would like to see in the budget, just like it was in previous years. That's all I'm saying.
And if I may, in previous years, there were names that I don't have a copy of it, but in 2014, 2015, 2016, all the way to 2018, there were no names. It was, and of course, I don't have that in there, but there were no names, there were only positions. And it gave their rates. And yes, sir, that was included in the previous budgets of the last 2 years.
Will it be, is that something?
That's something that we can look at, yes, sir.
And also the other things that I just mentioned?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
And I may just make a recommendation. The legislative auditor has their best practices template that is readily available, and I think if we could just plug in the numbers or plug in this type of format, I think that would answer all the questions everyone has here. And I'd be happy to share that with you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take that under consideration as well. But, Mr. Charlie Absher is, of course, a CPA that everybody wanted a CPA. And Mr. Charlie Absher put in a lot of man hours to be able to come up with this format to help people to understand it a little bit better, because he knew how difficult that the previous budget was.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate the
I'd like a
spreadsheet.
copy of that if I could.
Sure.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. And since we're going back in history, when we did ask for a CPA, we also asked for monthly in and out, how much went in and how much came out. I forget the actual terminology, but I don't think we get that every month. And that would be a great help as well. And we did get the budget, but we just got it Monday, so we only had 2 days to really look over it in depth, and then we just got this summary, so, I would like to set the hearing as late as we can, to kind of, now, I don't know if we have to set the hearing and then hash out everything, or, you know,
Up until,
how.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Up until May, y'all were receiving financials of the entire city of Crowley. That was emailed to you guys, if I'm not mistaken. And if you did not get it, I apologize, I can't speak on their behalf, they're not here anymore. But supposedly, that y'all were all emailed financials, okay? That was just in part of what you were saying, and I'm just giving you an answer of what you were saying. The ins and outs, transfers in, transfers out, appropriations that were made, that should have been done with all of the financials that were sent. If it was not, I apologize, I'll try to get you something as soon as I can. But of course, we're still in transition with this new computer system. Again, on top of this budget, a very difficult task. And we'd like to thank the CPA, Mr. Charlie Absher, and Mr. Cabell for assisting. Again, thank you, Mr. Cord, for bringing that, appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Primo?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to ask this, so this might help some of the others. They don't have to wait till the public hearing. If they have questions or suggestions with the budget,
That is correct.
can't they get with you
Yes,
before
sir.
then and try to work this out
Absolutely.
before the public hearing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, that's what he just said.
Mayor, after, you went further to Ms. Stringfellow.
Yes.
After the public hearing, you're authorized then to substitute, make those substitutions and changes legally in the proposed budget, which you would do at that meeting, after, if someone called for that to be done, offer an amendment. You could offer the amendments and then not vote on the budget until you were satisfied that there was more changes. You could then have to set a special meeting to adopt the final budget, you know, which I suppose Mr. Martin feels like you can do that now. No, this is a proposed budget for discussion and possible changes. This is what the process is going through. It is late, unfortunately, because of all the problems with the personnel, the city having, you know, the loss of two clerks, and the computer systems changeover disrupted this whole process, because it started back in April and May. You know,
Yes. Yep, okay, Mr. Crater?
And that's my point, Tom, is that I don't want to be accused again of holding the city hostage or anything like that. I want to make sure that we have it in time and in place and all the changes that we need so that we can get this done before the deadline like we did last year. So that's my only thing, is that I thought maybe by bringing this forward tonight, we could maybe get these changes done before the next meeting, and then we could move on and not have to delay it again and again and again.
Just set a date.
Mr. Senator, tonight,
I think the thing to do is to talk with the mayor, be with the mayor, and get with the mayor. You know, that's why you have a conflict like this. You can discuss the specifics, you meet with the mayor, you all can meet, get all these discussions, and all these things can be consolidated by the CPA and inserted into changes to be made.
Did that. All right, thank you. Ms. Stringfellow?
Have a date in mind, if we could, set the date for August 18th.
No, ma'am. We have to have it ready by the 11th for our public hearing.
Okay, we have a lot of public hearings that night already, and that's, okay,
I'm sorry.
that's still kind of close, kind of
Yes, ma'am.
quick, but,
We'll
so
work extra
so
hard.
you already have the date in mind.
We already have that for August 11th, August 11th.
That'll be the date, okay.
There are certain dates that have,
Okay,
there are certain dates in this publication that we have scheduled everything, you know, to do this, and all that, that's gonna disrupt the schedule.
we have to meet,
If you don't feel as though on that night, on the 11th, that the budget is ready to be adopted, you want to make further changes, and all the substitutions are not there in the motion to amend, you don't have to take up the ordinance as is. It could be voted out, you can call for a special meeting substitute, you have to have a vote for that. It could be cleared up on the 11th, or it could be extended, but you need to have all this in place so that you can make those amendments as necessary, and get it done before the 31st of this year. That's why you want, as Mr. Trader pointed out, you want as much time as you can. I think this process, we're trying to make sure that all the legal steps are in place so that you can do what needs to be done, and we have a little bit of leeway at the end if we have to.
Exactly. Thank you, Tom.
That's it, thank you. Okay? Oh, okay.
Okay, Tom, so for the publication purposes, what's the latest that we can go?
The next day, can,
Next, I think,
No, I meant if,
August 11th.
no, but when,
August the 11th.
no, I understand that, I mean,
The
if,
problem is this, you have, by August 15th, this budget has to be introduced. But the problem is, the advertisements have to be 10 days before.
That is what I'm
So you can have the
asking.
hearing.
that's what I'm
So
asking, yes.
there's no way you can wait that long
Okay.
to do all this.
And you have to have the publication prior to that.
And the paper, I think they've talked with the paper about scheduling to make sure we've got a space reserved to do this.
That's right. We have to set it. Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Okay, next, is a resolution, because the agenda was amended. Next is a resolution to accept the budget amendments. To introduce the budget amendments as read, and, to set a date, for that same date of August 11th for the public hearing.
That's so moved, Mr. Mayor.
Offered by Mr. Cabell, seconded by Mr. Primo. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, the next item was Mr. Martin. He amended the agenda and he's not here. Okay? Any other business to come before the council? If not, ask for a motion to adjourn. Offered by Mr. Core, seconded by Ms. Stringfellow. Thank you.
I have a quick question. When can the public get a copy of the budget?
Actually, that's somebody that you have.
That is the public's copy? When people ask me if they can get a copy? So I can send them to City Hall to get that?
That summary?
that's free deal, just.
Okay, because for the public hearing, I was just kind of wondering.
This is what's gonna be proposed, this is what's proposed for tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.